I started investing $5 a day into the stock market at the beginning of the year as part of a 52-week investment challenge to show that you did not need a lot of money to get started with investing. And over the last 240 days, we have seen movement to the upside in the stock market. And more recently, we've started to see some movement to the downside, which could simply be the market going through a minor correction. However, that has led some people to begin to speculate that a recession may be on the horizon. But one thing that I always say is the market is unpredictable and at times it can be extremely volatile. So we are going to continue to invest in the market every single day, regardless of what's going on in the market, because we are investing for the long term. So we are not going to allow any movement in the market to cause us any concerns. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing how my portfolio has performed over the last 30 days, and then I'll show how my portfolio has performed over the last 240 days, and then lastly, I'll go over some lessons learned since the beginning of the year when I started this challenge. I started this challenge at the beginning of the year with two main goals in mind. The first was to show how you did not need a lot of money to begin investing in hundreds of stocks within the market. See, many people never start to invest because they either don't know what to invest in, or they've heard some horror story from a friend or a family member about how someone invested in the market and they ended up losing everything. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there are no risks with investing in the market, because there absolutely are risks with anything that you invest in. But one thing that I can tell you is that investing in the market is one of the best ways to build wealth over a long period of time. And the second goal was to see how my portfolio could grow by making small investments every single day. See, when I started this challenge at the beginning of the year, I initially only wanted to go for 52 weeks. And that was mainly just to show people that grew up with similar backgrounds as me on how to actually start investing. But now that I'm 8 months into this investment challenge, I'm just gonna keep this going. I wanna see how long that I can go. 5 years, 10 years, who knows? I'm just gonna continue to invest, and I'll continue to provide updates to you on a monthly basis. Now, before jumping in and reviewing my portfolio, I just want to remind you that I am investing in Vanguard's VOO as part of this investment challenge. And if you're not familiar with VOO, then VOO tracks the S&P 500 index, which is essentially made up of the 500 largest companies within the US. And I also want to point out that the return percentages that I'm going to be going over as part of my portfolio review is based off of the money weighted rate of return. I'm using Webull for this investment challenge, and that is the method that they utilize on their P&L tab. So if you're using a brokerage other than Webull, they may not be utilizing the money weighted return as the method of how they communicate the percentage returns in their P&L tabs. If you'd like to jump into the challenge and you want to use Webull, I'll leave a link down in the description below. I like using Webull because they often run promotions that will give you free stocks whenever you sign up and put money into your account. So if you're interested in checking out Webull, then I'll leave that in the link below. And full disclosure, the link that I am putting in the description will provide me with free stocks as well. All right, so this is the homepage to my Webull brokerage account. And if you look at the top of the screen here, you'll see that my account balance is $958.70. And that includes $40 that I have in my account that has not been allocated to VOO, but it will be over the course of the next several weeks. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, you'll see that I only have one position, and that is VOO. And it currently has a cash value of $918.70. And then the last thing I want to point out on this screen is you'll see the orange box that says DRIP, and that basically is the dividend reinvestment program. VOO pays out a dividend, and whenever I receive a dividend based on the number of shares that I own, that money is reinvested back into VOO and allocate it to my account. So whenever it comes to dividends, you have two options. You can either take the dividend as a cash payment into your account, or you can sign up for the dividend reinvestment program and it will automatically reinvest any dividends that you receive back into VOO or whichever index fund or mutual fund that you decide to invest in. Signing up for that program is easy. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can do so in 2 or 3 clicks within your brokerage account. All right, so now let's take a look at how my portfolio has performed over the last 30 days. Now, if you look at the top of my screen here, you'll see that I have a P&L of $22.50. So we're green on the month. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, you will see that my portfolio is up 2.67% over the last 30 days, which is the green line. And the orange line represents the S&P 500 index. And you'll see that my portfolio is basically tracking with the S&P 500 over the last 30 days. Now, if you've watched some of my previous updates, you'll see that this has been kind of all over the place. Earlier in the year, we were continuously beating the S&P 500 every time I was providing you with an update. But over the last month or two, we've seen my portfolio pretty much tracking with the S&P 500 over the last 30-day period. So now we'll flip over and we'll take a look at how my portfolio has performed since the beginning of the year. So again, if you take a look at the top of the screen here, you will see that my portfolio is up $50.04 since the beginning of the year. And if you scroll to the bottom of the screen, you will see that my portfolio is up 59.69% year to date. And if you take a look at the S&P 500 index below, you can see that we are outperforming the S&P 500. Now, one thing to keep in mind, and I did mention this at the beginning of the video, is that Webull utilizes the money-weighted rate of return. So if you're using a different brokerage house, your percentages may be a little bit different. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're continuing to participate in this investment challenge. All right, so we are green in our portfolio year to date. And I know that we are not up a lot of money year to date, right? But one thing that you have to remember is that we are only investing $5 a day or $100 a month into our portfolio. So our gains are not going to be as large as they would if we were investing more money every single month. Which leads me into some lessons learned since the beginning of the year. Now, the first lesson, and I just kind of alluded to that, which was, although our account is green, we are not up a tremendous amount of money because we are not investing a ton of money every single month into the market. Now, with that said, this is a $5 a day investment challenge, but you are not limited to only investing $5 a day. If you have more disposable income that you're able to invest into the market that you can leave in for a long period of time, then you are free to do that, whether that's $10 a day, whether that's $500 a month or $1,000 a month. And also, you don't have to invest on a daily basis like I'm doing in this challenge. If you want to invest once a week or once a month, that is completely up to you, because I have received some comments that there are some of you that are located outside of the United States, and some of those brokerage houses are charging you every time you make a purchase. So if you are in an area where you are being charged a transaction fee for every purchase that you make, you may want to actually move to a monthly purchase, because that may help you save some money in the long term. And the next thing is I'm investing in Vanguard's VOO, but you don't have to. You can invest in any stock, mutual fund, or index fund that meets your financial goals. However, I do like investing in index funds because their expense ratios are generally lower than mutual funds, and it takes you out of the position of having to pick individual stocks, because you can invest in hundreds of stocks within an individual fund, and you kind of have a set it and forget it type vibe with that. And the next thing is to remember to not panic. We've seen a lot of volatility in the market over the last 2 months or so, and it's extremely important that you do not pull your money out of your portfolio unless it's absolutely necessary. Like I previously mentioned, we're investing for the long term. And when I mention investing for the long term, I'm talking 5, 10, 15 plus years. So you want to make sure that you continue to invest regardless of what's going on in the market. Now, if you got some value from this video, consider subscribing, and while you're at it, hit that thumbs up button and share this video with anyone that you think could benefit from learning how to invest in the stock market. And if you like this type of content and you're interested in jumping into the 52-week investment challenge, make sure you check out the next video.